Welcome to the Teaching Skills series, where we're exploring the flipped classroom model. A critical component of this approach is the microlecture. Today, our focus is on mastering the skill of how to record a 6 to 8 minute microlecture people actually watch. We'll move from blank slide to published video, providing a practical production guide. This session is designed to be efficient. In just 15 minutes, you'll gain one production checklist, enabling you to accomplish one task: record and publish your first microlecture. Pre-class videos frequently fail due to the completion rate problem. The data from Guo et al., based on 6.9 million video views, clearly shows the sharp decline. While 95% remain at 1 minute, this plummets to only 18% at 12 minutes, with a significant drop past 6 minutes. There are 4 primary causes. First, videos that are too long. A 20-minute video is not a microlecture. Research is unambiguous. Completion drops sharply above 6 minutes. Every minute beyond 9 loses approximately 5 to 8% of remaining viewers. Second, reading bullets aloud. If the audio track is identical to the text on screen, there is no reason to watch. Students read faster than you speak, and the visual and audio channels conflict rather than reinforce each other. Third, no visible face. Videos where a face appears alongside the slides retain viewers significantly longer than slides-only screencasts, as presence signals engagement and keeps the viewer's social brain active. Finally, no hook in the first 30 seconds. Dropout is highest at this point. If the video opens with housekeeping or title slides, students will quickly disengage. A highly effective microlecture is built upon a clear and consistent structure, comprising 5 distinct parts. This structured approach ensures maximum engagement and learning. First, the hook, lasting 30 seconds, must immediately introduce a clinical problem, a surprising fact, or a compelling question, directly engaging the viewer from the start. For example, highlighting that some drugs can be toxic to patients with chronic kidney disease. Next is the outcome, just 20 seconds, which precisely states what the viewer will be able to do after watching, such as calculating a renally adjusted dose. The core of the lecture is the content, occupying 4 to 5 minutes. Focus on a single concept, narrate your reasoning, and use diagrams and worked examples to illustrate, avoiding bullet points. For instance, a step-by-step calculation of the Cockcraft-Gout equation. The summary, 30 seconds, must concisely synthesize the content, covering clinical implications. Finally, the retrieval task, 20 seconds, is critical, a single pre-class question without notes, serving as accountability and retrieval practice. The hook and retrieval tasks are the most vital, ensuring engagement and learning. When designing your presentations, remember that the screen's primary role is to support with diagrams and examples, not to serve as your script. Let's distinguish what truly works. On the positive side, always aim for one diagram per concept. A mechanism diagram, a clinical pathway, or a pharmacokinetic curve carries spatial and relational structure that your words cannot. Build it step by step as you narrate, never showing it all at once. Similarly, presenting a worked example in real time is crucial. Type or write the calculation as you narrate each step. Students watch you solve it, not read a solved answer. The act of working through it, including the pauses, is the learning. Keep text minimal, max 6 words per slide, a headline and a diagram, not a paragraph. If you are reading from the screen, you have too many words. Finally, a real clinical case to anchor the concept. Naming a patient and providing context, like a 68-year-old woman with CKD stage 3 is prescribed vancomycin, is more memorable than consider renal function. Now, let's avoid these pitfalls. Bullet points are distractions. A bulleted slide is a handout, not a presentation tool, as students can read much faster than you speak. Avoid your speaking notes on screen. Dense paragraphs compete with your voice for the verbal processing channel, and both lose. Also, clip art or stock images are extraneous load. A photograph of a doctor doesn't carry conceptual information. Finally, slide transitions and animations are just features. Dissolves, bounces, and flying text are distractions. The only exception is to reveal diagram elements sequentially. Crucially, when creating your narration, record in sections, not in one take. Start by recording just the hook, then stop. Record the main content in 2 or 3 separate sections, pausing between each. Finally, record the summary and retrieval task. You can then edit the joins together. One-take recording consistently produces one-take quality, whereas structuring your video into 3 sections creates a much better video in less total time. When considering equipment, it's crucial to distinguish between what you actually need and what is optional. For a compact, minimum viable setup, the cost is effectively zero. Your standard laptop with a built-in webcam is perfectly adequate. A 720p picture is sufficient, and a 4K camera is not required. Crucially, utilize your built-in microphone within a quiet environment. Close the door, turn off air conditioning, as background noise, not the microphone quality, truly kills audio. For screen recording, PowerPoint or Keynote suffice, offering built-in narration and screen recording functions. And finally, leverage natural window light by sitting facing it, providing even and free illumination, avoiding the silhouette effect. If you produce regularly, certain upgrades are worth the investment. A USB lapel microphone, around 20 pounds, is the single biggest audio improvement, eliminating room echo. An adjustable ring light, near 30 pounds, ensures consistent lighting, though not essential. Conversely, I strongly advise against premature purchases. Professional editing software is unnecessary, as iMovie and CapCut are free. Studio microphones and acoustic panels are overkill, as a USB lapel mic is 5% of the cost and sufficient for teaching. Finally, green screens are unnecessary for picture-in-picture, as a plain wall is preferable to a distracting backdrop. This slide illustrates a critical shift in how we design the opening 30 seconds of our lectures. It's the difference between losing viewers and keeping them. The before approach is traditional, but ineffective. It spends 28 seconds on preamble, a title slide, a lengthy introduction, and a list of generic objectives. As the slide notes, this gives a student no reason to stay. In stark contrast, the after approach hooks viewers immediately. Within 28 seconds, it presents a compelling problem: preventable death from toxic drug doses. It connects this to a specific solution, the Cockcroft-Gault equation, and clearly defines the outcome. The viewer knows why they should continue. The fundamental rule is clear: hook, outcome, content must come first. Save the self-introduction, title slide, and detailed objectives for the video description. The production workflow details the 7 steps from a blank slide to a published video. It's a structured approach to ensure efficient and effective creation. We begin with step 1, write the hook and retrieval task, allocating 10 minutes. This defines the core concept and anchors the entire video. Step 2, write the outcome sentence, taking 5 minutes. This must be specific. By the end of this video, you will be able to, ensuring a clear objective. Step 3 is building the slides, a 20-minute task. Build 4 to 6 slides, including hook context, diagram, worked example, and summary. Adhere to the strict constraints, maximum 6 words per slide, 1 diagram, 1 worked example step by step, no bullet lists. Step 4, write the bullet outline for narration, 10 minutes. These are speaking prompts, not a full script, requiring practice. Step 5 is recording, the longest step at 30 minutes. Record in separate sections: hook, content sections, summary, and retrieval task. Use screen recording with picture-in-picture, the second take being the video. Next, step 6, edit, 20 minutes. Cut joins, remove silences over 3 seconds, and add captions using iMovie or CapCut. Finally, step 7, publish, 10 minutes. Upload to the LMS with a specific title: video, concept, course code. Include the description, your name, module, and retrieval task. Do not answer it. The total time for the first video is approximately 105 minutes, but this improves significantly. By video 3, it reduces to about 60 minutes, and by video 10, just 45 minutes. The workflow remains the same, only the confidence grows. In educational technology, technical pitfalls can derail your best efforts. Let's examine 9 common issues and how to avoid them. First, background noise can ruin your audio. Turn off air conditioning and fans, close windows, and check with a 10-second recording played back with headphones. Next, ensure your microphone isn't too far. A built-in mic should be within 40 centimeters, while a lapel mic clips to your collar, 15 centimeters below your chin. Always test before recording. Screen brightness and face darkness can also cause issues. Balance your screen at 60 to 70% and increase window light or add a lamp facing you, checking in a 10-second preview. Reading audibly from notes is another technical pitfall. Avoid rustling pages and unnatural cadence. Use a bullet outline on a sticky note at eye level or the teleprompter feature in PowerPoint. Video files can be too large. Export at 720p or 1080p for teaching videos, which reduces file size by 60% without quality distinction. To prevent forgetting the screen recording, add a 5-second countdown slide at the start of your deck. Notifications popping up during recording are easily prevented. Enable Do Not Disturb on Mac and Focus Assist on Windows. Recording over an old file is common. Name files with the date, like recording 2025-11-15, take 1. Never overwrite. Finally, auto captions can be 70 to 85% accurate, but review is critical for technical terms, drug names, equations, and units. Effective production hinges on a comprehensive checklist spanning the phases before, during, and after recording. Before you begin, the script must be prepared, a 2-sentence hook and an outcome sentence. Ensure your slides are concise, 4 to 6 slides maximum, with no more than 6 words, supplemented with diagrams or examples. Crucially, test your audio and video, confirm your mic, and adjust your screen brightness. Finally, eliminate distractions. Enable Do Not Disturb, close the door, and silence your devices. During the recording phase, record sections sequentially, treating the first take as a rehearsal. If errors occur, stop, rewind 10 seconds, and re-record clearly. Confirm your picture-in-picture in the preview, and save your files with a consistent naming convention. Timing is critical. Maintain a 4 to 5 minute duration. Finally, for the retrieval task, clearly present the question and pause for 2 seconds. After recording, proceed with post-production. Edit to remove silence exceeding 3 seconds. Export at 720p. Implement auto captions, review, and correct terminology. Publish to your LMS with a specific title structure. Add a comprehensive description, test the first 60 seconds, and confirm student access before the session. Remember, print and tape this checklist. Running through it prevents forgetting familiar items. Now, this slide outlines your tangible objective. Do this in the next 5 days, not 10 minutes. This is a comprehensive process. First, step 1, you must choose one flip candidate from your Module 8 audit. Crucially, select the simplest one. That means the fewest slides, the clearest concept, and the strongest hook available. Avoid the hardest session for your first video. Step 2 demands immediate action. Write the hook, outcome sentence, and retrieval task today. These 3 things define the video. If they are written, the video will get made. If they are not written, it will not. Moving to step 3, build 4 to 6 slides and record using the production checklist. Ensure you apply the 7-step workflow we discussed from slide 8 and the checklist slide 10. Your goal for efficiency should be 1 take, 1 edit session, then publish. Finally, step 4 is to publish to your LMS and share the link with your students. Remember to include the retrieval task question in the video description. Afterward, monitor the completion rate data once the first cohort has watched it. For submission, you will need to upload several components to the module page: the published video URL, the LMS link confirming it is live, and the completion data gathered from the first week after publication, including watch rate and the quiz score distribution if you used a pre-class quiz. As we wrap up, let's consider 4 things that frequently go wrong in this process. Avoid waiting until it is perfect before publishing. A 6-minute video that is published and watched is much more valuable than a 10-minute video that is never finished. Publish at good enough. Your subsequent videos will improve, making publication a condition for improvement, not the final result. Second, avoid recording the whole lecture. A 90-minute lecture is not a micro-lecture. It's the 6-minute explanation of one mechanism. Everything else is either cut, assigned as reading, or moved to the class session. Third, do not treat the first take as the final product. The first take is a rehearsal. It will be slightly too slow, slightly too formal, slightly misaligned with the slides. Record it, watch the first 2 minutes, note what to fix, then record again. The second take is almost 30% better. Finally, do not neglect to check whether students have watched the video before the class. If you do not check completion before the class session starts, you will discover students who did not watch during the class, and you will spend the first 10 minutes reteaching them. Set a completion deadline and check it the night before.
The core principle here, summarized in one sentence, is that effective instructional design drastically outperforms traditional lectures. Specifically, a 6-minute video that hooks the learner in the first 30 seconds and concludes with a single, targeted question teaches more. To achieve this, we must incorporate key takeaways: a robust 5-part structure, adherence to screen design rules for clarity, specific narration principles to enhance engagement, and a comprehensive production checklist. Next, we will explore how to build pre-class accountability using entry quizzes, just-in-time teaching, and the ticket-to-class model.